The problem with Kyrie is the problem with that I have with the player empowerment era, so that we're calling this era of the NBA in general, which is that each of these individual things in a vacuum are defensible. And if Kyrie Irving had to step away for mental health reasons or because life is a lot right now, all of us want to. Kyrie Irving is he's one of the few people that's in a position that he can afford to do this.
Right.
In a sense of like, he knows that he'll always have a job, whatever. So in a vacuum, it is defensible, as you said. Like maybe something comes out, and you're like, oh, well, in that case, Kyrie, maybe take more time off, whatever. But the issue with Kyrie is that this isn't in a vacuum. This is a long line of like just weird, bizarre things from him that are off the beaten path. And I think he would argue, and people that like Kyrie would argue that he is painted with too broad of a brush, or like people are misunderstanding him. The flat Earth thing has become like, it has become kind of like the lead criticism of him. But you also have to like talk about like all the stuff he's done for his community, which is very real. Like I think the guy's heart is genuinely in like bettering the world around him. He bought
George Floyd's family a house.
The HBCU scholarships he was helping with. He gave a bunch of money to WNBA players when they lost salary during the pandemic. So he is putting his money, his actions where his mouth is in those regards. But Charlotte, the bizarre, like I don't think it's fair to just say you're misunderstood and you're doing all these other good things when ultimately, like, there is a long line of him like not fully understanding his responsibilities as an NBA player, because he feels like he wants his cake and eat it too. Like, so I sympathize and I empathize with his desire to say, because he was one of the guys that talked about the bubble. Like, should we be playing a bubble? There's a pandemic. There's a civil rights situation going on, or a police protest, Black Lives Matter stuff going on. Like, is this the right time to be bringing the NBA back? And that made a lot of sense, and it was a very valid point of view. But you can't. The problem is that you cannot use your power and your influence as an NBA player, and that's ultimately the reason people turn to Kyrie Irving when he speaks, and the reason he gets a camera put in his face when he speaks is because of his basketball ability. And that and I think Kyrie hates that. It feels like Kyrie's like, I'm more than a basketball player, and you are, Kyrie, and no one is saying that you are worthless outside of the context of basketball. But the reality is, the only reason any of us are paying attention to what you're saying is because you're so good at basketball. And if you take that away, you are taking your platform away. And it's like he exists in this world where he wants both. And I understand it. It makes complete sense how you arrive there. But at some point, like, reality has to set in, and you have to say, I still have to show up for my job. And even if it is a situation where it's like, I am the only reason I'm showing up for this job, like if he comes out and he's like, to be perfectly clear, I don't love basketball, but I love what basketball affords me, and I can now take this platform and go do good in my community. If he said that, I would respect him. I'd be like, cool, man, but you still have to like show up for the basketball.